And thank you everyone for coming today to discuss what is an extremely important subject. But Mr. Chair, I do need to respond to yours and Senator Newman's regular refrain that this is not a discussion about the causes of crime, but rather it is just simply to hear from law enforcement about their perspectives. Yet, what I continually hear from yourself, Mr. Chair, as well as Senator Newman, as well as the a few of the police professionals who are present, are that the conclusions you've drawn already going into this hearing, evidenced by, of course, your piece that showed up in the Star Tribune a few days ago, is that this is a discussion about causes of crime, and there are some preformed conclusions about what they are, and they all center on police and how they feel about a variety of issues. The truth, so basically what I'm hearing is, we're here to hear from people to tell us what we want to hear about preformed conclusions. And I just don't think, Mr. Chair, that does service to what I think is an extremely important conversation that we absolutely need to have. Regarding violence, of course, we know that increases in violence are not unique to Minnesota. There's a wide array of factors. We've already heard very eloquently from Senator Latz and Senator Johnson Stewart, Senator Bigham, and others. And even the chief from, I think, St. Cloud did a beautiful job. And even Sheriff Fletcher said some great things about youth development and the like. Economic dislocation, the challenges surrounding the pandemic, a disregard and disappointment in the institutions that serve our society. Simply put, police cannot create public safety all by themselves. They have to be effective, they have to have legitimacy, and to do that, they need to have strong, positive relationships with the communities that they serve in. And to prevent crime, Mr. Chair, we need to talk about our constituents having good paying jobs, healthy communities, good health, good childhoods, living in clean and vibrant communities, and opportunities for positive social connections. I understand violence. As a gay man, I have been subjected to violence on that basis. I have had friends who have been severely injured and murdered because of that, because of who they are. And Mr. Chair, I absolutely want justice to be served. I want those perpetrators to be held to account. I want effective public safety services and effective prosecutions in those instances. But you know what else I want? I would have wanted those perpetrators to have received the kinds of mental health services that they needed. And I wanted them to hear different messages about what it meant to live in and around and among people different from themselves, especially members of the LGBTQ community. So I invite the members of this panel to maybe hold up the mirror and understand the effect and the consequence of their actions when they refuse to support things like hate crimes laws or anti-bullying efforts or conversion therapy efforts and the like. To say that some people are less than is sending a message, and it creates a context and a climate for crime and violence. Or to those larger issues, when we refuse to support things like minimum wage increases or the working family tax credit or transit so that people can have access to their jobs, or paid family medical leave and earn sick and safe time, or expansion of childcare, or how much we got for homeless youth supports in this last session.
Senator Dibble, do you have a question for our guests here?
I'll finish up my statement in just a second. Summer youth employment programs were defunded by members of your party, and that does a disservice to crime prevention issues. Giving voice to attacks on our democracy and the like. And I'm very glad that Sheriff Fletcher is here, because this really brings the point home. He talked about the enhanced dollars for his crime task force. I can't even remember what it's called. The fact of the matter is, Sheriff Fletcher had no conversations with Metro Transit about that initiative whatsoever. Mr. Chair, I asked you about that issue on the floor, and you had no knowledge of Metro Transit's collaboration on that initiative. There was zero. Now he's in asking for $2 million more. I talked to Metro Transit. We had an initiative that was holistic and research-based, that would have gone to really addressing effectively the issues of crime and violence and other sorts of social disorder on our transit system. Would have included some enhanced police response, but it had a whole lot of aspects connecting people to the kinds of supports and services and creating more order on our trains and our buses that we needed. That was research driven. That was an initiative of mine, a bill you refused to hear, yet you handed $250,000 to Chair Fletcher for a project that he conceived of all on his own. So, Mr. Chair, I would invite us to have another hearing that is more holistic and more expansive and more meaningful so that we can really get underneath the issues that we all say we care about. Thank you, Mr. Chair.